Hey guys, it's Stasia. Welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can tell from the title, I'm doing my wrap up for May. But before I get into that, I thought it would be fun because I don't usually acquire like enough books per month to do a separate book haul, but I figured I could try to incorporate that with my wrap up so you guys kind of just see like everything that happened that month, reading and mail wise. So we'll go into that first. So the first thing that I got in the month of May are 2 book sleeves, and these are both from Literary Creations by Jenny. She has a website as well as a Instagram. So I got 2 book sleeves because I was actually picked to be a influencer with her. So I do have a 10% off code, which is readers C, all caps, no space, no anything like that, no symbols. But I also have a direct link that you could use, and I'll leave that in the description. And if you use that link, the discount gets automatically applied. You don't need to insert the code or anything. So the first one I got is this very nice like geometric shape, and this is actually for my Kindle because I was looking everywhere for like a Kindle sleeve. It fits perfectly. I love it. And then the next one I got is a Peter Pan one. If you did not know, I'm obsessed with Peter Pan, and this is actually her bigger one used to fit like hardcovers. So here's like a hardcover and it fits in there no problem. Do I have like a bigger book? Okay, here's like a bigger hardcover. So this is my Peter and the Shadow Thieves, which I guess goes perfectly, but even like the thicker ones still have loads of space. So this is the first thing that I got. So now the next 2, 4, 6 things that I got in the month of May are just regular books. So the first book that I got is Dead to Her by Sarah Pinborough, I think. But I don't really know what this has to do with. I know that it's a thriller. I read her other novel, Behind Her Eyes, and I absolutely loved it. So I seen this at a random store. I was just out here buying what I needed to buy and seen this. So I figured that I would buy this and hopefully give it a try soon. The next 2 books I got were ARCs, and these were both from Wednesday Books. So the first one is You've Reached Sam, and this is actually one of my most anticipated releases of the year. I'm not really sure too much about what it's on. So it says 17-year-old Julie has her future all planned out, move out of her small town with her boyfriend Sam, attend college in the city, spend a summer in Japan, but then Sam dies and everything changes. Desperate to hear his voice one more time, Julie calls Sam's cell phone just to listen to his voicemail, and Sam picks up the phone. What would you do if you had a second chance at goodbye? So that's super interesting. Really looking forward to this. This comes out in November, so I probably won't read it until closer to the end of the year so that I could give you guys like an actual review of it closer to the release date, so you know if you should put it on your radar or not. Speaking of which, I was thinking of just doing a review on my Instagram because I post reviews there. But would you guys like a sit-down video with this? So that you guys here who probably don't have Instagram or don't follow me on Instagram, would you guys like a review, a quick little rundown on my thoughts of this before it comes out? Let me know if book reviews, like video reviews, are something you guys would be interested in. I would be happy to do that for you guys if I have like an arc. So the second book that I got from Wednesday Book is Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood. I believe this is a fantasy retelling of Jane Eyre. So not sure how that's gonna go. It is pretty small for fantasy, so that makes me happy. I read another Jane Eyre retelling and loved it, so fingers crossed I love this one too. But yeah, so this one also comes out in November. So these 2 reviews will definitely be on my Instagram before the books come out. But again, if you guys would like a video review, I could probably do both of them in one video. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. The next one I got is also a ARC, and this is from William Morrow, and this is Incense and Sensibility. I believe this is a series. I could be wrong, but I think she has like more series. But I think this is a take or like a retelling on Sense and Sensibility, which is also a classic I have not read. This one comes out in July, so this is actually going to be on my June TBR, spoiler alert. But let me know if you would like another ARC review of this. And then the next 2 books I got, I actually bought myself. I went to Barnes & Noble. You guys could see me purchase these books in my Masian-a-thon, like my week-long reading vlog for Masian-a-thon. I'll link that up above and below if you guys would like to check it out. But the first one I got was Loveboat Taipei by Abigail Hing Wen. This is just a quick little summer read, but I'm not gonna go into this because I actually did end up reading this month. So I will give you guys my full thoughts in a second when I get to my wrap up. And then the second one I got was Yoke by Mary H.K. Choi. And this is on my TBR for May. Not sure too much about what this is about. I know it's about sisters, and that's all I could tell you. So that is it for my haul portion of this video. So now we'll get into my wrap up. So as per usual, we will go through some stats first. So I have my planner here, so if I'm looking down, that's why. So within the month of May, I read 11 books, and that came out to 4,205 pages. The format of those books, I read 6 print, 4 ebooks, and then 5 of those were primarily audiobooks or like an audiobook mixed with like a print or an ebook, if that makes sense. And my genre breakdown is 3 contemporary, 3 fantasy, 3 romance, 1 historical, and 1 dystopian. So that's the stats part. Now we'll get into the books that I actually read. So the first book I read was Maybe This Time by Casey West. I've been like a hit or miss for Casey West. I read P.S. I Like You and absolutely loved it. Knew that I needed to get to her backlist, but her previous 2 books have been just fine for me. So this one was a 3-star. This book is about a girl named Sophie, and she is a florist. Like, she works part-time or full-time in like a florist shop in her small town. So during one of the events, a boy named Andrew Hart comes into the picture, and he's the son of a chef in town that has come in town for the year. So basically this follows, so it's 1 year and 9 events, and it basically just goes from there. So for example, so like the first event will be like Valentine's Day, and then they'll have so many chapters of that, and then there will be like Mother's Day. So it splits up into 9 events, and it just kind of hops up all over around the year basically. So I gave this one 3 stars, mainly because, I mean, I can't fault it for what it is. It's just not what I was expecting. This one was just a bit too YA for me. There's a main conflict between Sophie and, there's a main conflict between Sophie and her friend that I just found it super unnecessary. I didn't like it, and I just thought it was very immature, especially because they are seniors in high school about to go to college, so that just didn't vibe well with me. And then obviously this is a contemporary romance. You know who Sophie's gonna end up with. It's not a surprise or anything. Like, you could see it coming a mile away. And after they get together, it pretty much just ends. Like, I know a lot of people just want them to get together and that's the end. Like, that's their happy ending, is the fact that they got together. But personally for me, like, I would like some more. So like, I actually wanted to see them more of a couple, but we didn't get much of that, so it is what it is. The next book I read was Where Dreams Descend. I gave this 3 stars. I read this for the Shelf This book club hosted by my friend Bailey. I'll leave her and the book club link down below. I give this one 3 stars. I was very, very excited for it, especially because of everyone saying like it's so much like Caraval, and Caraval is my favorite series, so I had higher expectations, and I guess that's my bad. I feel like I probably wouldn't have been as let down if I had not heard the Caraval comparison, because then I wouldn't have been looking for the amount of magic and the amount of feeling that like Caraval gave me, but it's fine. So I give this 3 stars. Where Dreams Descend follows this girl. I don't know her name. I don't have the physical book and I forget all of my characters' names. But it follows this girl who's like a magician. She enters this contest and actually gets in. I believe she's like the first female to have ever gotten into this competition. So it's basically a book following this competition, or it's supposed to be following this magic competition to, I don't know, find the greatest magician or something. I'm not sure. But I don't know, for a book that is supposed to be about the competition, we followed like none of the other contestants. So every magic show that we seen was only from our main character. We didn't see like any of the other contestants. They would talk about it a little bit, but they wouldn't like play it out, and I wish that that is what they did so that we seen more of the competition. I also felt like the book was sort of scatterbrained. Characters hopped in, characters hopped out. Like sometimes you wouldn't hear from them for ages and then they would just come back. I felt like it was a very just convenient sort of thing, and then a lot of things were just kind of dropped in there and never explained, or just dropped in for like no reason. And so I was kind of just like, what was the point of that? It does have a second book. I'm not sure if it's a duology, trilogy, not sure how many books will be in the series, but I know for sure there's a second one. And at the end of the first book, at the end of Where Dreams Descend, it basically erases almost everything that happens in the first book, because they go to, it like ends off where the main character is at like a different world basically. So technically the competition was never resolved for me. I'm not sure if it'll get resolved in the second book. Not sure if I'll continue the second book, but it's fine. So that's what happened there. The next 4 books I did for a reading vlog, which was my Maysian-a-thon reading vlog, which again will be linked in the description and in the cards if you're interested. So I'm just gonna run through these really quick. I'll give you guys my star rating, a quick little like synopsis, and that's it. I'm not gonna go too deep into my thoughts. So the first one I read for that vlog was Starfish, and I gave this book 5 stars. It follows this girl, Kiko, and that's basically what it is. It follows her as she's about to start college, figuring out what she wants to do with her life, how she wants to go forward. She's very much like I guess you could kind of call her like a people pleaser. So she's getting more independent. It also goes a lot about her being Asian American. She's half Japanese and half white, and she lives in Nebraska, where that's not really seen in this book. So like all of her classmates, all of her friends, all of her neighbors are primarily white. So it kind of just follows her and how it feels to her as being the outcast in the whole situation. It also follows a lot about her and her mom. Her mom is where she gets her weight from. Her dad is the Japanese one. So it follows their relationship and kind of how she's trying to seek acceptance from her mom, but not necessarily getting it the way that she would like to. So that's what this follows. The second book I read for that vlog was Severance by Ling Ma. I gave this 3 stars. This is a pandemic, not really sure what the difference is, sorry, but it's like a pandemic book. That's basically what it is. So there's a dual timeline. It follows our main character like right when the pandemic hits, so she's still like working in her office. You know, they're trying to figure out like how many people can work from home, stuff like that. And then the other timeline follows after the pandemic has already hit, and so it's basically like a survival story. So 3 stars. The next book I read was Loveboat Taipei. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. This follows our main character, Ever, and she is about to be a senior, or I think she's about to be a senior, or she's just graduating. So it's just hit summer, school's just ended, and her parents send her to like summer program thing in Taiwan, and she doesn't want to go. She just wants to do her own thing, what she wants to do in her hometown, but her parents are like, sorry, it's already happening, like you're going already. And so it basically follows Ever and her self-discovering what she wants to do, because at home her life is very tight, her parents are very strict, but when she's sent over to Taiwan, you know, she has all this newfound freedom. She's trying to figure out like what to do with it, what to do with herself, who she really is and stuff like that. She also is struggling with her future. She doesn't know if she wants to follow what she wants to do, or if she wants to follow what her parents have always told her she had to do. So that is also a thing. But yeah, so this one was 4 stars. And then the last one I read for that vlog was Accidentally Engaged. This one was also 4 stars. This is about a girl named Rena and her parent. It's not really like an arranged marriage, but they're strongly encouraging she marry this man named Nadim, but she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to marry him. So basically this kind of goes to like an almost arranged marriage turned fake dating is what happens. So basically it follows Rena, and she kind of just does her own thing. She doesn't care what her parents want from her. She's just living her best life. She does what she wants, honestly. But when her parents say that she should marry this guy. She's like, no, don't want to do that. And then an opportunity arises for her because she is a baker. She loves to bake bread. And there's a competition that arises, but after knowing about this competition, she finds out that it's only it's a family-based competition, so she needs like to be in a couple or something like that. So she actually goes over to Nadim and he's like, hey, want to pretend that you're my fiance so that we could do this show. And it kind of kicks off from there. So if you want to see any of my further thoughts on any of these four, again, check out my vlog. But the next one I read, I actually listened to the audiobook for this, and I feel like if I tried to read it physically, it would have been a completely different experience because it follows this girl named Kaya. And her family was never like rich or anything, so they lived in the marsh and she was called the Marsh Girl. But everything is not really as it seems because she ends up needing to grow up by herself. So in the beginning of this book, there's basically like a crime, murder, mystery type of thing that's happening. So it kind of throws you in this story saying like a dead body has been found, and then yeah, that comes in later in the book. And then we start to follow Kaya and basically her growing up, her learning to read, write. There is a small romance in this book. The reason why I say reading it physically would have been a much different experience than listening to the audiobook is because the author writes like a very southern twang. So like she writes as if the accent is a southern twang, and that's how it was read. But I'm trying to find like an example. So like example, there's like a line here that says, "'Cause of him sneaking round, I didn't catch any fish to smoke." So it literally says like TA, so it's like to smoke. So it's very like a southern twang. So I feel like I would have had a hard time reading it physically, but the audiobook definitely immersed me in it. I gave this one 5 stars, very much enjoyed it. And I know that Reese Witherspoon, obviously this was her book club pick, but I believe she's also working with some producers, or she's the one producing it, not sure, of an adaptation. I believe it's a movie. I don't think it's a TV show, but I am very much looking forward to the adaptation of this. The next book I read was the Gilded one. I gave this 3 stars. This is very much like I think it's pitched as like Black Panther meets The Handmaid's Tale, and I could very much see that. But I just didn't mind it as much. There is a romance in this book, and I feel like I would have liked it more if the romance was progressed on page. But instead, it was actually progressed a lot like off screen. So like you could see the outcome, but not what led to that. But it basically follows this girl whose name I don't know, sorry. But she, in the beginning of the book, she goes to like, it's a tradition thing that when the women of like the city, I'm not sure what it's called, I'm so sorry, but when they reach a certain age, I guess their blood gets looked at, and if they run red, then they're normal, they can live how they've always been living. But if they run gold, then they are different and they get banished or whatever, I don't know. But anyways, our main characters blood runs gold, and while they're trying to kill her off, she actually gets recruited to become one of the Gilded ones, which is basically like an army who works for the emperor person. But yeah, so that was basically it. I think I would have liked if they included the romance, they should have held on to the romance instead of producing it off screen. And I also predicted like one of the big thing. I predicted that, so I was kind of just like, oh well, it is what it is. The next book that I read was Heartstopper Volume 3. 5 stars, absolutely loved it. This, if you don't know like what this series is about, I can't really tell you much about Volume 3 because then it would spoil the whole thing, like the series. But Heartstopper is basically about a openly out and gay character named Charlie, and he becomes friends with a guy named Nick. And through their friendship, Nick discovers a lot about himself, and you know, they become more than friends. I feel like Heartstopper is a series that everyone is reading now. Still waiting on my library to get volume 4, but that's fine. Volume 3, I have to say, is probably my favorite one so far. I feel like in volume 3, they really dove deeper into Charlie and Nick's character rather than their relationship, and I really, really like that. I loved learning about them. I loved them becoming closer, but also having more like character depth in themselves. So I love that one. The next book I read was The Checklist by Addie Woolridge, and I believe this was my May pick. Could have been my April, but it's my April or May pick from First Reads that you get like a free ebook if you have Amazon Prime. And I gave this one 3 stars. So it wasn't bad. It actually took me a while to get through. Like I kept putting it down and I wasn't like as engaged in the story. First of all, the book is called The Checklist, and there is very much a lack of a checklist. When I read the checklist, like when I read the title, I was thinking, okay, Chloe Brown, there's gonna be a list and we're getting it done. And I realized that's kind of a trope that I'm beginning to love, is like a checklist trope where they're doing stuff. But this basically follows a girl, Devin. I believe her name is Devin. But she get put on this assignment where she has to move back to her hometown because she originally lives in Texas, I believe. And then she gets sent back to her hometown that is not Texas. I forget where it is. And then while she's there, she's on a very hard assignment and she's forced to like stay with her family, who she doesn't really talk to as much, blah, blah. There's a situation with a boyfriend, and then there's also the rival of her neighbor who lives across the street. Like their families just never really got along much or something like that. I don't know. I thought it was fine. Of course, I wanted like a checklist, but I guess Devin is like a nice character. She is very like, if it needs to get done, it's gonna get done one way or another. So I like that about her, but I don't know. I didn't really care. Like I didn't hate it. It was a 3 star. It was just fine for me. And then the last book I read was City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. This is the 4th book in the Mortal Instruments series. I'm doing a first time reading vlog for each of these books, so I won't tell you much about this one, but I will tell you that I gave it a 3 star. Probably my least favorite in the series so far, but still excited to see where it's gonna go. Yeah, I have an entire reading vlog dedicated to this book. I'll link it above and down below if you're interested. There are spoiler and non-spoiler parts, so if you haven't read it yet, you can still watch it if you would like. So that is pretty much all of the books that I read and the book mail that I got in the month of May. I think this is a longer one, not sure, we'll need to see, but yeah, so that's everything. You can let me know what your favorite book of May was, if you read any of these, you know, what were your thoughts on any of them? Do we have any similar ratings or completely opposite feelings on some books? But yeah, so you can tell me anything like that, or you can tell me any fun book mail that you got in the month of May if you would like. But that's all from me today. All of my socials to find me anywhere else are in the description, as always, along with my code and link to purchase from Literary Creations by Jenny if you would like to. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!